Hey everybody, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil, and it's time to talk ANDOR. We had a really cool premiere week last week. We got the first 3 episodes of this 12-episode season, and we also really got what felt like the first arc of the story, namely Cassian on Ferrix running into the law of Morlana 1 of the Primor corporate police, and the showdown in Ferrix where Cassian escapes with Luthen. Where they're off to, who knows? Who they're going to meet, who knows? Although we do know from the trailer, for instance, that there's a lot of characters still to be shown to us, including a couple that we're familiar with from other works. Are we going to meet those sorts of characters now, or is that going to happen later in the season? Who knows? But obviously that's where our story's now going, and Luthen clearly has need for somebody of Cassian's particular skills and mentality. Cassian's already proven that he's willing to kill. And early days of the rebellion, you can't necessarily get too hung up on acting honorably. You have to act decisively, and I could see somebody like Luthen, who it feels like he's got pockets of rebels everywhere, and he's slowly developing this network, has need for people just like Cassian, who are willing to wade into that moral ambiguity to achieve their goals. So I'm really curious to see Luthen sort of steer Cassian in the right direction, giving him some purpose, giving him some direction, and what that takes the form of in the coming episodes. But I'm also super curious to see what other stories we keep up with. Are we going to get more of young Casa with his new abductors / parents? Like, are we going to get time with him and Marva and Clem on Ferrix as he sort of goes through the culture shock of moving from this little survivalist camp of youth who apparently... My best explanation for how and why they're there is there was a mining colony on this planet, and there was an accident, and everybody either died or was evacuated, but for whatever reason, young children, some of them at least, were left behind. Now, none of those kids were younger than about 6. None of them were older than about 20, which means they were all sort of like 14, 15 and younger if there was an accident 6 years ago. And why do I say 6 years ago? Because I'm pegging Casa to be about 12 in those flashbacks, and we know from Rogue One that he's been in this fight since he was 6. So if that decisive event, if that thing that puts him into the fight is the death of his parents, this industrial accident in the mines where his parents probably worked, then that may be what he considers to be the decisive moment in his life where everything changed. And that would make total sense. Parents dead, abandoned on a poisoned planet. Everything falls apart at that point, 6 years ago, perhaps. And we also know in those flashbacks, we're in the last days of the Republic. How far from Episode 3 from Order 66 are we? Tough to tell. Probably not too far, though, just because I would imagine Cassian's in his late 20s in this story. And we know Order 66 would have been 13 years ago if this is 5 BBY, because Order 66 was 18 BBY. And I figure, again, he's about 12 in those flashbacks. So if he's late 20s, then Order 66 probably happened when he was about 14, 15. That's my best guess. Maybe we'll even see the ramifications of or Order 66 on this show in some way if we continue with the flashbacks. The other stories I'm very curious about whether we're going to continue or not are about the other people that we met and got interested in on Ferrix. Are we going to spend more time with Bix and the other rebels there? I would love to see more of that because we did such a good job of introducing this whole world, and it's not just Cassian's world, it's a whole community of people who feel under the heel of these massive corporations, which are in turn being nationalized by the Empire. These people are not being done well by, and it's perfect conditions for rebellion to occur. And there's some level of organization. We saw that by, you know, the alarm that spread as everybody banged on the metal pipes and stuff. But it would be great to see that rebellion evolve and become more organized and become a little more effective in retaliating against Pre-Mor and the Empire. And I'm also super curious if we're going to spend more time with our Pre-Mor cop. I hope we get more of his story because, you know, he had this... He was devastated last episode. He thought he was going in, doing the right thing, leading his men to victory. They had all the righteousness of future officers of the Empire, and they got their asses handed to them. Men were killed. And to top it off, he was going against the orders of his superior, the chief inspector. What's the fallout of that going to be? I could see it running the spectrum. It could be anything from him seeing the absolute error of his current situation and flipping and becoming a rebel, or I could see him going hardcore against Cassian, making that his sole prime directive and becoming a ruthless Empire officer. So I hope we stick with that story too. I think it's fascinating. We haven't spent a lot of time within the Empire at the rank and file level. You know, normally if we see the Empire, we're seeing Sidious and Vader and the generals and the admirals. But seeing the rank and file soldiers and officers is a really cool alternative, and I hope we explore that more. Anyway, I'm psyched for this episode. This is episode 4, and it's called Aldhani.
Why would I go anywhere with you?
Don't you want to fight these bastards for real?
Ah, so good. I love the tone of this show. It's just so much more grounded and serious than most Star Wars fare. It's a really nice alternative. And I love how percussive the music on this show is. The drums of war.
Take hold of something. Anyone behind us? Set for Aldhani.
Calculating for Aldhani.
Oh, okay. It's a planet.
As I say.
It's complete.
Boom! Hang on to something.
What's that? Mad Nog. Just a sip.
Med Nog, I love it. A little medicinal whiskey.
Either I drop you somewhere and you start running, or you come with me and help with something important.
I'll take the drop off.
Do what? I'm offering you everything you want, all at once.
What is everything I want?
To put a real stick in the eye of the Empire and get paid for it. It's all useless. Better to spit on their food and steal their trinkets.
It's better to leave.
I imagine that no matter what you tell me or tell yourself, you'll ultimately die fighting these bastards. So what I'm asking is this.
We're
Would you
acknowledging
rather give it all at once? Something real.
his
They carve
future.
off useless pieces till there's nothing left. Big stakes, big danger. Prep team, good plan. You survive and deliver. I'll give you 200,000.
Wow.
What would we be stealing?
The quarterly payroll for an entire Imperial sector.
Oh, it's a frickin' heist movie! I love it! I love a heist. Wow. Okay, Coruscant. Here we go. Oh, that's awesome architecture.
My staff is awaiting an assessment from Avala 6's ministerial director.
Because they've done such an excellent job so far.
Man, the bureaucracy. Okay.
Is verbatim from the ISB mission statement and wrong.
Oh, okay.
Security is an illusion. We are healthcare providers. We treat sickness. We identify symptoms. We locate germs. Blevin, Morlana's sector, this incident on Ferrix.
Oh.
Corporate security, sir, and ran into more trouble than they'd anticipated.
Trouble meaning what?
Several dead, property damage. A stolen Imperial Starpath unit was recovered at the scene.
Those responsible?
Unknown, sir. I'm heading out immediately after this.
She knows about the Starpath unit?
There's an increase in construction shipments going to Scarif, sir.
Oh. Scarif gets a mention. Do we know Aldhani? I don't, but is it completely new to us, or... I feel like there's Easter eggs for the game players and the novel readers.
Think of a name for yourself. Clem. For the
Stan.
next 5 days, you'll be Clem.
Okay. I still want that to be Ahsoka.
Who's that? You'll be working for her. She's gonna hate this idea to start.
It's not. Alright.
Take this.
Is that a Kyber crystal?
What is it?
It's a down payment. It's a Quati signet. Blue Kyber, Sky Star.
Yeah.
I want it back when this is over. If I live, I want it back.
So Liv. So who's this? God, his ship is cool. I love these
Val.
angled wings. Vel. He could just take off. Come on, man.
I can't believe you're doing
You
this.
can pilot.
We go in 3 days.
Increases your chances of success dramatically.
Are you giving me a choice here?
Yeah. You take him or call it off. I was planning to shut you down.
And if he's the problem?
Well, that's the advantage of renting him. He's disposable.
Alright. We're being very mercenary and cutthroat about this. It's all about the mission.
Yes.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Vel.
You will not return to your living quarters. You will leave here and be escorted with haste to the transfer center. It took the combined ingredients of idiocy, ineptitude, and total disengagement for this farce to have reached the full apex of incredulous disaster. Seriously? As of this morning, the Milana system is under permanent Imperial authority.
Wow. They just got nationalized. Or whatever. Galaxized? I don't know. Whatever the galaxy equivalent of nationalized is. Wow. I can't read Karn. I can't figure out how he's going to react.
When we get to camp, we're going to tell them this was my idea and we've been planning it all the while. We never mention him.
Okay.
We're robbing the armory at the Aldhani garrison.
He told me about the payroll, not the garrison.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we don't talk about him anymore.
7 against the garrison.
Save your wind! This is a long walk.
Hey, hold on.
I wonder if she's like Luthen's daughter or something.
Get down, Tuckins!
Wow. Oh, I love that noise.
Right, that gives us jurisdiction. I want you to go to Blevin's office, tell them we need everything they've got on Ferrix.
It might mean more if you went.
I don't want to spark his interest.
Okay. The internal politics of the ISB. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Orbiting Coruscant.
Your controls. Landing protocol.
Oh, geez, he's going to Coruscant. Is he like a senator or something? Oh my god, he's actually like going into disguise. He's like a freaking senator. All this freaking jewelry and... Skarsgård's the perfect man for this. Wow. Remembering all his affectations and everything.
I want the full Ferrix report.
It's my sector.
An Imperial Star Path unit was stolen from the Steerguard Naval Yard and found at the scene. That gives me jurisdictional access. Are you denying my request?
For the second time today.
Ambition and infighting. Just like any other corporation, really, or government.
Everyone's dead. You ride with Mossy, Garbish, Saul Guerrera. Fall asleep on watch, they're gonna put your head on a pike for a laugh.
Sorry.
Well, Saw got a mention. We know he shows up in the trailers, so he's gonna show up in person someday.
Actually,
she's got somebody with her.
Two.
Oh, look at the horns! I love the multi-horned sheep. So there's one more. It's those four plus one, plus Vel and Cassian.
This is Clem. I haven't mentioned him before now because I wasn't sure we could get him here on time.
It's a bit late for surprises.
That's Skeen. This is Taramin. Nemik. And Cinta.
All right. Not the warmest of welcomes. Someone's got Geordie LaForge visor. It all feels so real. Now, is this Morlana 1 or is this Coruscant? I think this is Coruscant now. So presumably he's been fired, or what's his new situation? What's he gonna do? Mother? Why the slap? He doesn't write, he doesn't call.
How do you know him?
He comes highly recommended.
So you don't know him?
I know that we need him. That's all I'll say. Anything else is a violation of security.
This late in the game.
As opposed to
You
when?
trust him with our lives?
That's my call to make.
Vel!
I trust him.
All right.
Senator Mon Mothma's here.
Mothma?
New driver.
All right.
Anyone we know? Senator, what a pleasure to see you.
You as well, Luthen. Sorry to be so late.
What is it?
You know,
What is this place? Is it a museum?
We often refer to the gallery
It's a gallery,
as Coruscant's
okay.
unofficial temple of patience. I put aside a few things. If I recall, he has an interest in military artifacts.
Yes.
So let's start with
God, I
this
love
one. It's a
everything that I'm
Gacoan
seeing.
monk cudgel. Basis, but this is the
Even
real
like
thing.
look at the
Unique
tailoring in her
combination,
outfit. It's just so interesting and different.
treasure for the true aficionado.
Is there anything else that might interest
I wonder if they already know each other. That's what I'm trying to figure
Very
out.
special that just came in. Come with me.
Yeah, I think they already know each other. Speaking in code to some degree.
But I need to start planning if you're no longer coming through for us.
The money's there. It's just getting very dangerous to move it around. They're watching me now.
They're watching everyone.
This is different. They're everywhere. I found someone I think can help me.
Someone who? To bring into the circle? No.
I know what I'm asking.
No. We're vulnerable enough.
You think I haven't thought this through? I'd be the first one to fall.
Who's she talking about? Who's she talking about? Bail Organa, maybe? Oh, I love that they're not spoon feeding us. We're left to try and decipher things. Imagine what. Oh, come on. Come on. We're just bringing in speeder bikes like we're on Endor.
We've no say in this?
It's not a vote.
Just like that.
It's been in the works.
We don't even have enough comms as it is.
We have 2 spares.
That was our backup.
Clem is our backup.
We have an extra uniform. Gonna need to leave us your belt and gloves.
Oh, so he's infiltrating. Okay.
This is Lieutenant Gorn. He's our contact at the garrison.
Or he's a real Imperial officer, and he's just a turncoat.
What's all this?
Dinner for the governor.
That's tonight?
You don't remember?
I remember you wearing me down.
I didn't think anyone could do that.
You can't be serious. These people hate me. They spend every day trying to undo anything I've touched.
Well, perhaps tomorrow they'll think twice.
Don't seat them near me.
Oh, I've taken care of that. You're at the boring end of the table. These people are fun.
Now, the Aldhani garrison is a depot for supplies, weapons, and the payroll for the entire Imperial sector.
ground to the flight deck of a single Max 7 Rono freighter.
Val said you could pilot.
It's not really flying, but yeah.
We're taking crates of payroll from that room, loading the freighter, and escaping out of the runway tunnel.
In a Rona?
Yeah.
They'll be on you in minutes.
9 minutes. We've timed it.
Once every 3 years, the Aldhanis gather in this valley for a celestial event they call Makani Bredani. Imagine 50 meteor showers all at once. But until the eye, the window to the galaxy forms over the horizon.
From the ground, it's a thing of beauty. In the sky, it's chaos.
This happens in 3 days' time.
Okay. So they're using the natural phenomenon and the history of the planet to their favor.
They won't know where we came from, and if we can beat the clock, we'll be gone before they even know what happened.
Let's get to it.
Cool.
The stolen item has great value, sir, particularly to the rebels. Tracing its theft might expose activity in my sector.
People also take things for money, do they not?
I'm seeing signs of coordinated activity over a number of sectors.
What activity?
Gut instinct.
You came to us from enforcement. Here, we act on vetted and verified information.
11 and Miro.
He is, I'm sure, a challenge to work with. His quarterly reports, however, are in, and yours are not. You're supposed to be more competent and tucked away. That's why you're here. That's why we're bringing in officers like you.
Thank you, sir.
We're done.
All right, so she was like hand-picked as a new officer. She's got potential.
That's the Rono freighter specs and the console layout. That's a detailed map of the garrison. That's an Aldhani phrase book.
Can I eat my food?
You'll eat, and you'll have learned all that by morning. I'll take the first watch.
All right. He's got his work cut out for him. But I find it interesting. He's not like this is a really interesting way of introducing him to the rebellion. You're not here for good. We're paying you for 5 days. Okay. Wow. Written by Dan Gilroy. Is that Tony's son? All right, I'm intrigued. And I really love the direction the show's going in. Don't get me wrong, I love the first 3 episodes, but now I feel like we're in proper spy thriller territory. Yeah, we start with Luthen and Cassian together, but they're not a team now. They quickly go their separate ways, and they've each got their own story now. Cassian's thrown into this little unit that's about to do this raid and steal the quarterly payroll for an entire Imperial sector. Not a warm welcome at all, but it's interesting. Like, he wouldn't have done it if it weren't for Luthen's offer of money, and yet he's certainly motivated to fight against the Empire. But I think Cassian's still in this mental state where he doesn't see the purpose in it. He doesn't think it can be done. He doesn't think that, like, his view of the Empire is that it's so massive, it's so powerful, it's a fool's errand to fight against it in any real sense. Sure, you steal from them here and there, that sort of thing, nickel and dime them, but a coordinated, concerted effort and fight against them, he hasn't wrapped his head around that yet. He doesn't believe in it. But maybe this mission's going to change his mind. I feel like this is our next arc. We're probably spending the next 3 episodes on this mission to steal the payroll. Super cool if that's what we're up to. I think that's so neat. And yeah, we've got this entirely new cast. Like, I love how many characters this show is introducing us to. Whether they're town folk back on Ferrix, whether they're these random kids from Canary back in the previous episodes, whether it's this new team highly suspicious of Cassian, although he's winning them over just by being competent, but we're not being handheld. Nobody is, quote, special. All of these people that we're meeting are just ordinary people, some of whom have chosen to fight, some of whom are just trying to survive, but it's all just the plight of normal people. They're, like I said, this isn't about Jedi and Sith. This isn't about Mandalorians and Imperial generals and all the rest of it. This is happening on a ground level, and I'm intrigued where, Premor completely written out of the situation now. Primor got swallowed up by the Empire because of Karn's F up. His mistake, this disaster of an operation on Ferrix was enough to force the Empire to decide, you know what, Primor security are not doing the job, we're taking over. It's now Imperial. The way the Empire's growing and consolidating power right now, I feel like this isn't an isolated incident. I feel like they're absorbing these corporate systems left, right, and center as they consolidate power in the galaxy. I love that we went to Coruscant. We see what Luthen's quote day job is. What's his cover? Well, he's a gallery owner selling expensive artifacts to the rich and powerful of Coruscant. Who would have known, you know? But how cool is that? And there is a circle. There's a small circle of those in the know, which includes Mon Mothma. We got to meet her, and she's a sender, but she feels like her position's very tenuous. How much longer until they dissolve the Senate? I'm trying to remember. I know they talk about it being recently dissolved in New Hope, but how recently? I forget. But anyway, we're in the final years of the Senate, it feels like, and spies are everywhere, cracking down on rebellious activity. And Mon Mothma, rightfully so, is watching her back and feeling super nervous, and she's got a husband whose activities don't seem to be helping. And yeah, I want to learn more about what's going on in her and Luthen's life on Coruscant. It's a rebellion. It needs funding. Where does the money come from? Is that why they're stealing the payroll? Can you, like, is it just straight credits, or is it something else? I mean, can they use those credits if they're stolen to help fund the rebellion? How does all that work? I'm super curious. I love that this is getting into the nitty-gritty of how a rebellion actually needs to work. It's not just hope and raw energy. What about the logistics? Where does the equipment come from? How do you communicate without security risks and risking breaches and all of this? So if we're getting more of that, count me in. I'm fully on board. I feel like this is adult Star Wars, and I get that this might not be for everybody, especially for people who are just fans of the movies, because it's not about the Jedi. This is a spy thriller. This is, on the verge of war. This feels like Where Eagles Dare or The Guns of Navarone, like these classic war movies. Where it's a small band of people inserted behind enemy lines and with a mission crucial to winning the war, turning the tide. Love that energy. It's so cool, and I cannot wait for the next couple of episodes to see this heist, this mission come to fruition. I love that we are sticking with Karn, and we see that he's been fired, but he's certainly gone home. And he's gone to his mommy. He's such a taciturn, blank-faced character on purpose. Don't get me wrong. He's hard to read, so I'm very curious what's going on under the surface there. Where's his mind at? What's his next step? Is he going to join the Imperial Navy or Army? Is he going to or is he going to do something else entirely? I don't know. But he's sort of fallen into the anonymous life of a Coruscant civilian, is my impression. I might be wrong, but we also got our first glimpse of inside the ISB and all the bureaucracy and interdepartmental infighting going on there, where, which is natural in any workplace full of ambitious people, including the military, including government. And we get Lieutenant Blevin, who's responsible for Ferrix, among other sectors, and Miro, who is the one whose Starpath unit was stolen, and she's one to watch. I think she's the one that may be piecing together the seeds of this rebellion and maybe finding a pattern that leads her to Luthen. Feel like she's sort of the primary antagonist at the moment, because it's certainly not Karn anymore. Karn was the antagonist for those first 3 episodes. He had a hunch. He wanted to follow up on these murders. He identified Cassian. If Miro gets all the raw data from the Ferrix case, if she gets her hands on Cassian's name and stuff, then what happens? But for now, she doesn't have access to that. That remains in Blevin's court. And he doesn't come across as incompetent, so he may be able to put 2 and 2 together or figure out that that's a thread worth pursuing. But I wonder how quickly the Empire will get back on Cassian's tail, if they, in fact they do. They may not find him at all until after the raid that they're about to conduct. And then will anyone put 2 and 2 together and say, this raid of the payroll was done by the same guy that escaped from Ferrix? Who knows? But I love that it's thought-provoking. I love that it's subtly written. We're not getting a ton of exposition. We're just getting the storytelling that comes naturally with any spy thriller. Yes, we got a bit of an explanation of the plan of the raid itself, but that's just because we need to bring the new guy up to speed. It was natural exposition, and I'm totally on board with that we get some info, but we don't need to have our hands held as we watch this show, and I appreciate that level of writing and directing. So, man, yeah, I'm just loving this show. It's a very different energy from your typical Star Wars fare. I wouldn't say that there's been a ton of fun yet, but I'm not missing it. I am enjoying the seriousness of it. I'm enjoying the stakes and the drama and the groundedness of it. As much as we're going to these different worlds, we're seeing this, we're seeing the bowels of Coruscant and all this amazing architecture. It all still feels real. Like I love that they didn't shoot the bulk of this. They didn't shoot any of this on the volume. They shot on location. I think I know it's shot in Europe, but I don't know whether it's strictly in the UK or whether they went further afield. But in any case, they went to real places to film this, and it shows. It comes across on screen. And I'm just loving the vibe. The vibe is great. It's tense. It's serious. I'm so looking forward to more of this, and I kind of love that I'm only getting one a week. It's kudos for Disney Plus figuring that out, that there's something about regulating how much of a show we get that makes it more of a water cooler event. And I hope a lot of people are talking about this show. I hope a lot of people are going, are you watching Andor? If you're not, you've got to start watching Andor, because this is something different and this is something special. And I think this is going to be a show that people talk about as a high point of Star Wars in the future. But only time will tell. There's a great deal of promise with what we've seen so far. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending a little time with me here today on Neil Talks. It's been a blast. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this episode and the series so far, where you think it may be going in future episodes. And until next time, everybody, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.